From fear to faith. Only God can give us the ability to move from fear to faith through our obedience to Him and knowledge of God's attributes, biblical images, and names. Everyone knows the story of how Jesus was born. His mother, Mary, was visited by an angel and conceived a child. At the same time, King Herod had issued an order that said that everyone had to return to their hometown. So Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem. But there was no room for them in the inns. So Jesus was born in a stable, surrounded by animals, right? Turns out that's not exactly what happened. You see, Mary wasn't even married yet when all of this happened to her. She was betrothed to Joseph, but they weren't legally married yet. So naturally, when God appeared to her, she was frightened. She asked, "How could this be?" But the angel responded, saying, "You will conceive and bear a child, and his name will be Jesus, and he will be the Son of God." Mary then went and told Joseph what had happened. At first he was surprised and angry, but later he accepted that this baby truly was from God. Mary then traveled to Judah to visit her older cousin Elizabeth, who was also with child. When Mary got close to Elizabeth, Elizabeth's baby jumped inside her. Mary and Elizabeth then sang a song of praise and thanks to God. When Mary returned to Nazareth, she was viewed terribly. When she could turn to no one, God was there. Mary trusted that God would deliver her through this hard time, and He did. Originally, Mary had been afraid of what would happen to her and her relationship with Joseph. But when she trusted God, her faith grew stronger than ever, and she became the mother of Jesus Christ, the Messiah. As the story goes, Jesus was born in a stable, surrounded by animals, shepherds, and wise men. But the truth is, we don't actually know if the animals sang to the baby Jesus or if the wise men were even present. During the time of Jesus' birth, the wise men were really far away. Even though we don't know exactly how far, we do know that they were far enough that it took them 4 years to reach Bethlehem. The wise men were probably kings and scholars from countries in the Middle East. Their offerings of gold, frankincense, and myrrh suggest that they were very wealthy. So why leave a nice, comfortable life behind to follow a star? The answer is simple, because God told them to. The wise men knew that they needed to find this child of heaven. They listened to God and obeyed His command. The journey wasn't always easy for the wise men. They were stopped by the evil King Herod, who demanded that they tell him where they were going. But the wise men eventually reached the town of Bethlehem, where Mary, Joseph, and Jesus had been living for the past couple of years. They presented their gifts and praised the baby Lord. The wise men gave up a life of comfort and luxury to search for a baby who would one day become the Messiah. They risked their lives by traveling for 4 years and were rewarded greatly. God turned their fear to faith by showing them His redemption for the world, the tiny, helpless baby who was born in a stable. But how do these examples teach us how to handle difficult situations in life? Even though these two stories are very different, there is always one constant: God. God always provides for us in all situations. He has a plan, and as long as we trust in Him, He will continue to grow our faith. I have 3 great friends. We all liked the same kind of thing, and we had a lot of fun together. We got really close over one summer, but when I got back to school, they decided that they hated me. They totally shut me out, and it really hurt me because I thought that we were friends. But God used that situation to show me that even when I'm going through a really hard time, He is there for me. When everyone else has abandoned me, He will stand with me.